Teresa has been, is from Galva, Kansas, and she's been painting about 20 years. And she's going to show us some borders. When I asked, you know, can we come up with some easy borders and easy things for beginners to do, she suggested all these borders. And I thought, okay, that's great. And since it's your suggestion, would you like to come on and do it? So I'm hoping that we can get this together.
Well, ta-da.
Yay! Okay, and I'm moving and you're moving, so it looks like it works. Okay, and I wanted to know how you got started in China painting.
I started when my sister-in-law lived next door to a China painter who had been giving lessons for years and years and years and retired. And she was well into her 80s, but my sister-in-law talked her into giving us a few lessons. So we went to Olya Hull's house in McPherson, Kansas, and she gave us the basics and walked us through everything. We had about 3 to 4 lessons with Olya, and then her daughter decided to move her to a different town. So that was the end of the lesson for quite a few years. And then I went to work in a music store in McPherson, Kansas, and my boss told me that he had a lady in his church that gave China lessons. And at that time, it worked out great for me because Ann Albright was her name, and she gave lessons in the evenings, which worked out for me because I worked during the day. So then I had a few lessons with Ann, quite a few, and painted probably for about a year, and then she quit giving the evening lessons, so I had to quit China painting again for a few years until I finally got something to work out again with Ann where I could go during the days and or just work part-time. And I've been painting ever since, and she taught us a lot. So here I am with you today.
So what's your favorite thing to paint?
I think any kind of animal I like to paint. I love horses. I've painted quite a few horses, for a couple for myself and then some for people who have wanted gifts for family members. And I've painted dogs and cats and birds, and I just think anything with fur or feathers is pretty good. So,
and most of that, I think you posted a lot of those. You posted a lot of those on Paint and Porcelain Exchange just recently too.
Yes, I think I did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I painted a couple of horses that, yeah, one of my horses ended up in the World China Painting magazine, which I was tickled about, and I had to write my article about that, but that was a lot of fun. And then this past year, another horse that I did took grand champion at the state fair. So I was real tickled about that.
Yeah. So what do you have for us today?
And I do paint. Well, I have some fancy, or not fancy, too fancy a border for plates or tiles or whatever. And when I went to look for a plate, I couldn't find any. I couldn't believe I didn't have a plate. So I have some tiles that I've painted some borders on. And I have, I'm going to move this phone a little bit. I have this bag. Oops, if I can get it here. Full of different things. There's a piece of corrugated cardboard. Mm-hmm. And if I can get them out of the bag here. These onion bags do a lot. The small bubble wrap. A piece of plastic wrap. Mm-hmm. And I can get the other one out of the bag. Here we go. A piece of sea sponge.
Oh,
and good, you can just do all kinds of things. I will demonstrate right now what you can do with this sponge.
There
That
you
won't
go.
work?
Yeah, we can see what you're, yeah, we can see real
Okay.
well.
Okay. Well, it just gives a little texture, different texture to your border. And then I'm going to use this piece of corrugated cardboard, which makes another nice pattern. And I learned most of these borders from one of my favorite China painting teachers, Edith Soper, who lives in Nebraska. And I saw where she's on here watching today. So thank you, Edith. You're making me famous.
So, okay, that's the corrugated
There's
cardboard.
the card. And then the sponge is right there. It just gives you a nice fingerprint. Just gives you a little texture. And you can put that around just about anything. And I will grab another tile here that.
What do you have?
Oh, little bunnies. Let me turn them around. Some crocus and bunny rabbits. And then I will.
Gorgeous.
And then the bubble wrap is a small bubble wrap. And you just pounce it, press it on there. And you can see it gives it kind of a neat texture.
Oh, yeah.
And then if you want to, yeah, after this is fired, then you can go over it again with the same color that you painted on there, and you'll still have a dark and a light, or you can leave it this way. And then the next thing I'm going to show is some plastic wrap, which kind of gives another texture, which is pretty cool. You just take a piece of plastic wrap and bunch it up and pounce it on your border, and it just gives it a nice texture.
Oh, yeah.
Just like that.
Your husband's doing excellent.
And then I will. Oh, good. All right. Now I have my onion bag, and I have two different sizes of these plastic bags, like onions or some other kind of vegetable will come in. There's a small one. It gives it a small texture. And then this one's a little, where'd you go? There we go. A little bit larger. And I will do the larger one first. And you just kind of press it on there. And it gives it a neat texture. And then I have this smaller one, which just, there we go. Oops, I just smashed it. Let me get it around here. Just gives it a different texture, a little smaller texture. And it's just kind of fun to play with them. I put the paint on 5 days ago, but it's not a drying medium or anything, so it stayed wet. I had just put all these in boxes or drawers so they'd stay dry for today. So, or wet for today. But that's that's about all I have for borders today.
What do you think, as far as painting goes, what do you think is a good thing for a beginner to start with?
Well, I think most teachers that I know have started their students with wild roses. I know that was my first thing. wild roses. And I'm not sure what the second thing she taught was, but I didn't want to paint that. So I painted a cat for my second painting. So I think wild roses probably is about the easiest thing to paint. And I still, you improve much over the years, so it's still fun to paint wild roses. I like to do that. So
do you have any of your painting close
what
by that we could see any other samples?
There is Edith's poinsettia and Sharon's roses, and then there's my Baltimore Oriole bird.
Oh, it's beautiful.
And my brown horse that took grand champion at the state fair, and my pinto horse, which got me a blue at the state fair, and was also voted to go to the Museum of China Painters in Oklahoma City, World China Painters, and also got me a article in the magazine. And then also at the state fair, I got a blue on my Parrot.
That's gorgeous.
And then, thank you, I learned how to paint this scene from Edith Soper in Nebraska. And there's my Kansas meadowlark.
Really nice.
And a basket of bunnies. So that's about all that I have out right now.
Oh, those are beautiful. How did you do the background on the Parrot?
I painted it black first, which turned out to be gray when it was fired, light gray. And I decided I wanted it to be a dark blue. So then I put a cobalt blue and just kept going over it and over it, several layers of paint. And then to get it smooth, you always just feather your brush out and you do a very nice job, but I'm not too good at that. So I take a silk and cover a cotton ball and pounce it on there. That's how I smooth out my pinks.
Well, you do absolutely beautiful animals. I can understand why they're your favorite.
Well, thank you.
When putting the original colors on before the texture is done, what kind of open medium did you use?
My medium is a pint of mineral oil, a teaspoon of capabia, and a teaspoon of lavender oil mixed up together. And that's what I use for my medium.
Really? Wow.
Uh-huh.
And where did you get that recipe from?
I got that recipe from Anne Albright when she was painting. That's what she always used, and I think that's what Olya used also, and used to paint with Olya. So they just passed it on, and I've never switched. I know some people that have switched mediums, but I just stick with what I know. So it's always worked out great for me.
And you don't find that the mineral oil is too oily? Because I was painting with that for a while too, but just that. It didn't have anything else in it.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think the capabia makes it a little bit drier, and I'm not sure what the lavender oil does, but I people that have tried to paint with mineral oil, and everything runs in the kiln if you don't lay it flat. So
is there anything else, any other tips you'd like to add that we should be aware of? Something that you
golly. I just thought of one. I'm going to get this tile back up here. When I paint I paint my horses to get a horse hide effect. If this is a goat skin or goat hair mop brush, and to get cow or horse hide, I paint, and then I just daub it on there like that, and it gives a hide effect.
Huh.
And it looks, of course, it looks a lot better with a second fire. But this is just would be a first fire. But that's about the only one I can think of that I missed. So
Okay, well, coming from the horse expert, I think that's a really good tip for anybody who's working on them. Teresa, I can't thank you enough for sharing your borders with us. It's really been fun, and I think everybody enjoyed it. So thank you very much. And for those of you that are out there, pick up your brushes, keep painting, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye. I hope you enjoyed the program, and I hope you'll take a minute to subscribe so that other people can learn more about China painting and we can get the word out to more people. You also can look at the links below. My paintandporcelain.com website has a lot of freebies and printables for new and experienced painters, as well as studies, supplies, and even some of my hand-painted china. So thank you again, and I'll see you next time.